Sandbag Hypertrophy, Sandbags and Calisthenics, the ultimate program to get you strong like a strongman, powerful like an Olympic weightlifter, yoked like a wrestler, tough like a rugby fullback, fit like a trail runner, and functional like a residential mover is finally here. Just about a year ago now, I released a video going over a basic sandbag and calisthenics training program, and you guys absolutely loved it. Since that video came out, I've had a lot of feedback on how effective the training is. Your insight made me realize something important, something I thought I knew but couldn't know for sure. When I made that video, all I had to go on was what I'd discovered myself, my own personal experience. There's tons of data out there on using sandbags alongside other strength training tools, even more on using lightweight sandbags, but focusing entirely on heavy sandbags and calisthenics and nothing else as a way to get big and strong just hasn't been talked about much. Using common bodybuilding logic, sandbags should be terrible for building muscle. There's no isolation, there's no room for RPE or stimulus to fatigue, the training is hard and it doesn't stop being hard ever. On paper, it shouldn't work, but the results I was getting from it were better than anything I'd ever had using the modern gym training approach. I knew it worked for me, but how could I know for sure how others would respond? Well, it's not just speculation at this point. It's not just my experience anymore. That original program made things very clear. This stuff works, and it works fast. A heavy sandbag gives you that farmer strength, while at the same time making you actually look strong too. It gives you a cohesive, strongman-like physique that's as useful as it is impressive to look at. The first time you lift a heavy sandbag, I have no doubt you'll be hooked, and you won't look back. Calisthenics fills in the gaps, giving you everything a heavy sandbag can't, adding even more muscle to your body, making you more athletic, and turning you into a strength endurance conditioning master. The original Sandbag Hypertrophy program I released last year was very minimalist in nature and acted as a great entry into the world of sandbag lifting. I'm still very proud of it, but with that minimalism came a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room to experiment with new things and hone in on those things that work best. That's where this new and updated program comes in. Where the original program was a general introduction, this is a deep dive. It's much more complete, and I think you're gonna love it. The program itself is easy to follow, and we'll get to it soon, but there is a lot that went into making it. So much so that I actually wrote an entire book about it. I won't make you sit through a sales pitch or anything like that right now. I'm just so excited about it, and I want to say it here. The book is officially out. It's called Sandbag Hypertrophy, the complete sandbag training manual. The training program is only scratching the surface of what you'll find inside, but I'll talk more about it at the end of the video. For now, just know this video and the program we'll go over today are both based on the new book. This program uses the Sandbag-to-Shoulder as its focus point. Everything you do will be in service of improving the Sandbag-to-Shoulder. This doesn't mean that's all there is to it. There's a lot more going on than just that, but having a primary exercise that drives your program forward gives it a clear purpose and makes progression very easy to track. Olympic weightlifting has the snatch and the clean and press. Powerlifting has the squat, bench, and deadlift. Heavy sandbag lifting has the sandbag-to-shoulder. The sandbag-to-shoulder is the most complete sandbag movement there is, and every bit of weight you add to the exercise will mean more muscle, strength, power, and everything else. Before diving into the program, I'd like to read one of my personal favorite sections from the new book. It will give you a better understanding as to why the sandbag-to-shoulder works so well as the star of the program, and I think it might just get you excited for what's to come. In many ways, the Sandbag-to-Shoulder is the ultimate muscle building exercise, but in many others, you could say it's nothing more than the sum of its parts. The three basic sandbag exercises discussed in previous chapters, the lift from the ground, from the lap, and the carry, work the body in almost the same way the Sandbag-to-Shoulder does. If you wanted, you could build a similar amount of muscle just focusing on those three and forget about shouldering heavy things altogether, but in doing so, you'd be giving up something far greater. Muscle, strength, power, and the rest aside, the Sandbag-to-Shoulder gives you something much more significant: purpose. Above all else, shouldering a sandbag is fun. It's less exercise and more game or sport. And if you plan on training for the rest of your life, that's likely to be much more meaningful than anything else. The moment you first manage to shoulder something heavy, you'll feel it. A sudden shift in understanding. What have I been doing all this time? It's the realization that general physical abilities are nothing but a pale shadow on the ground when faced with the ever-burning sun that is learning a skill, learning to actually do something, to use your body for a meaningful purpose. In that moment of triumph, sandbag on your shoulder, the victor of this small battle, exercise takes on new meaning. No longer is the gym just a place you go to for all the normal reasons. Every single thing you do from this point onwards will be in service of the Sandbag-to-Shoulder. Muscle and strength, those things will come. There's no doubt in that. Every bit of weight you add to that sandbag will mean more size and strength, but you probably won't notice it, not at first. Too much of your attention will be focused on performance above all else. This is the true secret of the Sandbag-to-Shoulder. By not even thinking about muscle, you'll end up with much more of it. An obsession with perfecting your skill means you become more consistent. You never miss a day in the gym. In fact, it becomes difficult to stay away. Rather than, what's the least amount of work I can do in the gym to become big and strong, your thoughts become, how much can I get away with before I do too much? You see this same thing in other lifting sports. The average muscle-driven gym person turned powerlifter becomes so obsessed with improving their squat, bench, and deadlift, they wake up one day and realize they finally look like someone who lifts weights. The calisthenics athlete becomes hyper-focused on mastering the planche, and when they finally achieve it, their body has transformed into something new. The track and field competitor becomes so hooked on improving power for the shot put, by the end of an off-season, they realize their muscular development is on par with that of a bodybuilder. This is why the Sandbag-to-Shoulder is the ultimate muscle-building exercise. This is what makes all sandbag lifting so powerful. It transforms you from just another person who goes to the gym to an athlete. And as an athlete, it's your job to play, and playing is never work. It also just so happens that the Sandbag-to-Shoulder is a lifting sport with progressive overload in its bones, which means your reward for playing is becoming big and strong. With a solid foundation in place, heavy sandbag lifting, and an emphasis on the Sandbag-to-Shoulder, it's time to talk about the other side of the program, the counterbalance to heavy sandbags, calisthenics. Here again, let me quote a section from the new book. You could build an entire workout program using sandbags and nothing else and come out the other side yoked, strong, and ready. You could do this and find yourself feeling as powerful as you look, but some things are just too good to pass on. Why settle for exceptional when you can have so much more than that? There is another training style that blends together so well with heavy sandbag lifting, it just has to be here. It must. As great as sandbags are alone, they pale in comparison to what they become when brought together with their counterpart, calisthenics. Together, sandbags and calisthenics become the perfect form of hybrid training, creating an all-around athlete who's ready for anything and knows it. Strength, power, muscle, endurance, speed, mental fortitude, and a type of total body integrity you don't get any other way will be yours when you combine these training styles. Basic calisthenics is great, but this program is built around the Calisthenics Circuit in particular. I realize you might be skeptical about this form of training. Typically, the word circuit sets off all kinds of red flags, but these are not your average beginner-focused circuits. These are absolutely brutal. Bodybuilders typically shake their heads at the idea of pairing muscle-building exercises with endurance training. It's much easier to focus on basic sets and reps. It's less fatiguing, and you'll build just as much muscle without all the extra effort. But nothing about this program is meant to be easy. If you truly give everything you have to these circuits, you will build muscle, strength, endurance, and elite conditioning all at the same time. I'll cover the specifics of these circuits in finer detail later. Until then, I hope you won't be discouraged just because this training style is less common. It's less common because it's hard, not because it's less effective. One final paragraph from the book to get you excited about calisthenics circuits. Calisthenics circuit training is designed to wear you down quickly and hold you there. Imagine the final mile of a 5-mile run. You're exhausted, winded, and the only thing driving you forward is sheer power of will. Now imagine that final mile is full of obstacles. With 4 miles already behind you, rather than a simple run to the finish line, you have to make your way up and over things, under things and around them, jumping, crawling, climbing, pushing, bending, calling on strength you didn't know you have from somewhere deep inside yourself, all the while fighting the constant reminder playing on repeat in your head. You still have a long way left to go. This is what a calisthenics circuit is like, brutal and unrelenting, but well worth the struggle. Now on to the actual program. The program follows a 4 days per week training split: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday and Thursday will be sandbag lifting, Tuesday and Friday will be calisthenics. Monday. Exercise 1 is the Sandbag-to-Shoulder, done for 5 to 15 single attempts per side. That's 10 to 30 total, with 1 to 2 minutes rest between every attempt. 1 to 2 minutes rest between every single rep may seem like a lot, but don't forget, this is our skill. The Sandbag-to-Shoulder is the main movement we want to improve above all else, and the best way to do that is by making sure you're completely rested and ready to go back near full power level before every rep. Just like an Olympic weightlifter, the goal should always be perfect practice. We'll push through fatigue later on. With this movement, make every rep count. 5 to 15 attempts per shoulder is a wide margin, and this is where a bit of self-awareness comes into play. You'll want to stop the exercise for the day either when you reach 15 shoulders per side, which usually means it's time to move on to a heavier sandbag, or when you start slowing down noticeably and/or missing attempts. Again, this is a technical, power-based skill movement, and there's no point banging your head against a wall failing over and over. Once you reach that point of fatigue, your time will be better spent elsewhere, which leads us directly to the second exercise for the day, the sandbag high pull. For many lifters, particularly those who rely on power above all else to shoulder a sandbag, the high pull is likely to be the ultimate accessory exercise. It will make you significantly stronger from the lap, and will make shouldering heavy weights easier for you. Just as with the full sandbag to shoulder, the high pull comes with a wide margin. You'll perform 5 to 10 sets of 3 reps with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. Stop the exercise either when you reach 10 sets or when you start slowing down noticeably and can no longer bring the sandbag as high. We're trying to build power with this movement, and to build power, your reps need to be powerful. This is why the exercise is placed near the beginning of the workout when your power level is at its highest. Don't shortchange yourself by practicing this movement with only half effort. The first 2 exercises will balance each other out. If you managed 15 attempts per side with the sandbag to shoulder, it's likely you'll be closer to 5 sets with the high pull. And if you managed only 5 attempts per side with the sandbag to shoulder, you should be closer to 10 sets with the high pull. If you somehow manage to do all 30 shoulder attempts and all 10 sets of high pulls, it's definitely time to move on to a heavier sandbag. After the high pull, the power-based section of the workout is over, and it's time to move on to more strength-based exercises. Exercise 3 is the sandbag bear hug carry, done for 3 sets of max distance. Usually somewhere between 30 to 60 seconds per set is best, but the time doesn't need to be exact. Just go for as long as you can. Between each set, rest for a full 3 to 5 minutes. You'll need it. The heavy bear hug carry will take it out of you quickly, but it's worth every step. I've said this many times before on this channel, but it's worth repeating. I sincerely believe the bear hug carry is without a doubt the single most beneficial exercise you can do. Period. Sandbag or no sandbag. Even if you don't plan on running a sandbag-focused program, I encourage every one of you that's able to add some bear hug carries to your regular routine. You owe it to yourself. By this point in the workout, after the carries, you'll most likely be nearing your limit. Pushing with a technical exercise wouldn't make sense here. Neither would doing something that relies so heavily on mental fortitude and straight-up willpower like a carry. For the final exercise, we need a pure brute strength movement, something that lets us put our heads down and work one final time. The lift from the lap to chest height is the perfect choice. With a sandbag in a vertical position on your lap, grab it as low as you're able with a bear hug grip, stand up, squat back down, and repeat. The exercise will be done for 1 all-out set of max reps. Push with everything you have. Pause for as long as you need between reps with the sandbag on your lap. You may get 5 reps, you may get 25. Just do as many as you can, and next time, do more. That's it for the sandbag portion of the workout, but one final step remains for the day: direct work for the posterior chain and abs. This part of the workout is more about pumping blood to these parts of the body and building a mental connection with the muscles than it is about straining. These exercises shouldn't take any longer than 10 minutes to complete, all combined together. Pick an exercise for the posterior chain. abs, and obliques. The posterior chain exercise could be banded good mornings with a light band, bodyweight hyperextensions, 45 hypers, reverse hypers, or something similar. You'll perform the movement for 100 total reps. I like to break the reps up into sets of 30, 25, 20, 15, and 10, which makes 100 total, but you can just do a complete set of 100 if you'd like. Any rep scheme works, just get that 100. For the abs, you can choose basic sit-ups, band crunches, leg raises, again, something that isn't too difficult, and again, do 100 reps. The same goes for the obliques. Pick a basic exercise like oblique crunches or Russian twists and do 100 total reps, or 50 per side. Your first thought will be to skip this part of the workout, but you'll be much better off if you don't. You'll recover faster, your body will feel better, and it will go a long way towards preventing injury. A final note on the ab work. High rep ab exercise is often discredited as unnecessary and ineffective. I disagree. In addition to offering some muscle building effects, the high rep exercise increases your mind's connection to the muscles in your core, which means a stronger brace. Proper breathing and bracing is essential when lifting heavy sandbags, and anything you can do to improve it is well worth the time investment. Tuesday is calisthenics. Keep in mind, these workouts are entirely dependent on your strength levels, body fat percentage, and experience with calisthenics. I'll give you a circuit that I personally like, one that I've had great success with, but if it's too much, you can scale down the difficulty of the exercises by doing easier variations, like banded pull-ups rather than standard pull-ups, or you can change the rep scheme so each set has fewer reps. Our Tuesday circuit is made up of 5 exercises: chin-ups, dips, inverted rows, pike push-ups, and the ab wheel rollout, or hanging leg raises if you don't have an ab wheel. The circuit will be done using a 10 down rep scheme, which is 10 reps of each exercise, then 9 of each, then 8, all the way down to 1. Only rest as needed between sets. Try to keep going non-stop if you can. For these circuits, we'll be racing the clock and working to improve our time every workout, which is just as much a viable form of progressive overload as adding weight or reps is. Start a timer, do all your reps, and mark how long it took you. Your goal is to eventually complete the circuit in under 20 minutes, using perfect form on each exercise. Once you can finish in under 20 minutes, switch to a 10 down and up rep scheme, meaning 10, 9, 8, all the way down to 1, repeat 1, then make your way back up to 10. Again, I want to stress that just because this setup, increasing workout density by doing more work in less time, is less common than adding weight or reps to a single exercise, doesn't mean it's not an effective way to force progressive overload. This training style builds muscle, strength, endurance, and conditioning all at the same time, which makes it the perfect pairing for heavy sandbag lifting. Combined together, these two opposing training styles create a complete athlete who's ready for anything and knows it. After the calisthenics circuit, 2 parts remain in the workout. Next up is neck training, using basic curls and extensions for 4 sets of 25 each. This includes warm-up sets. Every set should be progressively heavier until your final all-out set of 25 for each exercise. Feel free to use whichever training style you prefer here. I personally like training my neck with bands, but plate curls and extensions or bodyweight bridging works too. If you're not already training your neck, get ready because this will completely transform the way you look. A thicker, wider neck instantly makes you look stronger and more powerful, and it's also one of the single greatest things you can do to bulletproof yourself against injury. The final part of the workout is optional. Every muscle will grow from this program as is. You don't need any isolation work. That said, if you have any specific muscle groups you want to isolate, arms, shoulders, calves, etc., here's where you'll do it. Just make sure to follow these rules. 1. Nothing heavy. The last thing you want to do during this time is heavy deadlifts. Stick to lightweight isolation movements for small muscle groups. 2. Cap this part of the workout at 10 minutes. Any more and recovery will be compromised. Basically, if you want some extra isolation work, give yourself 10 minutes at the end of your workout and do whatever you want. Go for the pump, just don't add more heavy lifting. This is an idea I picked up from Dave Tate back in the day. It's very effective. Thursday is our second sandbag workout for the week. Like on Monday, this workout begins with the Sandbag-to-Shoulder for 5 to 15 attempts per side with 1 to 2 minutes rest between reps. The same concepts outlined during Monday's workout apply here as well. Exercise 2 is the horizontal sandbag row, done for 5 to 10 sets of 3 reps with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. This is another power-based accessory exercise, and everything said about the high pull on Monday applies here as well. The main difference is the purpose of the exercise. Where the high pull improved your strength from the lap, the row improves your strength from the ground, which is important because it doesn't matter how strong you are from the lap to the shoulder. If you can't lift a sandbag from the ground, you won't be doing anything with it. Remember, the goal with this program is to consistently improve your sandbag-to-shoulder strength. Every bit of strength added to that exercise means more muscle and everything else. In order to improve the sandbag-to-shoulder, every step along the way there needs dedicated work. Exercise 3 is the sandbag squat, done with a sandbag held in a vertical position on the chest with a bear hug grip for 3 sets of 5 to 20 reps with 3 to 5 minutes rest between sets. Push as hard as you can on this one. It will take a lot of mental willpower to keep going for high reps, but every rep you do will pay off. Just as with the Monday workout, at this point, after the squats, you'll probably be pretty worn out, so we need another brute force movement. In this workout, we'll be doing the basic lift from the lap to chest height, this time with a sandbag held in a horizontal position for 1 all-out set of max reps. Finish off the workout with your 100 reps for the posterior chain, abs, and obliques, and call it a day. Friday. The final workout for the week follows the same outline as Tuesday: Calisthenics Circuit, neck training, and optional isolation work. The circuit for today is wide grip pull-ups, decline deficit pike push-ups, hanging leg raises, ring rows or inverted rows if you don't have rings, and dive bomber push-ups. You'll follow a 5-3-2 rep scheme and go for rounds. This means 5 reps of each movement, 3 of each, and 2 of each. That's 1 round. A good starting place is 5 total rounds. Again, time yourself, and once you can complete the workout in under 20 minutes, add rounds. Finish the workout with 4 sets of 25 on the neck curl and extension, do your optional 10 minutes of isolation work if you'd like, and get ready for your weekend off from training. You'll complete the entire week-long program 4 weeks in a row and take the 5th week off as a deload week. You can do whatever you'd like during the deload week, just no heavy movements that load the spine. That means no sandbags and no barbells. You need to rest and recover. Ride a bike or go swimming, work on your mobility, push a sled, try something new. Whatever is fine. You don't need to stay bedridden all week, just nothing heavy. Now, there is another aspect to this program that I can't realistically go over in this video. There's just way too much to it. If you stick with the base program I outlined here, you will make great progress for a long time. But if you want to take things to an even higher level and make sure you never hit a plateau for long and make sure no weak points turn up and stick around, there is more. In the book, I've created an additional 5-week cycle for each of the 3 most common weak points when shouldering a sandbag, from the ground to the lap, from the lap to chest height, and from chest height to the shoulder. If you decide to get the book during the base 5-week program I outlined in this video today, it will be your job to discover which part of shouldering a sandbag is holding you back most. Then, after your deload week, you'll move on to whichever 5-week cycle is focused on that weak point. So if you decide the most difficult part in the movement is from the chest to the shoulder, you'll move on to the 5-week cycle focused on that and spend the next 5 weeks strengthening your weak point. In this way, you can string together 5-week cycles indefinitely, getting rid of any weak points as they turn up. I will say the variations in programming are subtle. Each 5-week cycle follows a similar outline, but the differences between each one are enough to be worth it. Again, the base program is enough on its own, but the extra variation in the book will make a big difference. And that leads me finally to the book. As I said before, it's officially out. I can't thank you guys enough for how supportive you've been during this whole thing. Without your constant positive feedback, I don't know if I would have had it in me to put my heart and soul into this book like I have. Anyone making videos on YouTube would dream of having a community like ours. This book is hands down the best thing I have ever made in my life, and I'm so proud of it. It's been professionally published and formatted to be an actual book. There's nothing wrong with Word document PDFs like you often see from fitness YouTube channels, but after all the time and energy I put into this thing, I wanted to go all the way. This is a legit book, which is part of why it took so long to get it out to you guys. I do apologize for the wait, but in my opinion, it was well worth it. Inside, you get everything I know. I go over everything there is about sandbags, from the smallest programming detail and how everything fits together, giving you the tools needed to create your own programs, to straight up motivational stories that will make you want to go train. I also discuss the theory behind each of the main sandbag exercises, explaining where an exercise fits into a program, and more importantly, why it goes there. This is so much more than just a program. It's a complete sandbag training manual. In addition to the program outlined in this video and the additional 5-week variations based on improving weak points, there is also a second complete program based on combining the Sandbag-to-Shoulder and the sandbag press for those interested in pressing a sandbag. The second program also comes with multiple 5-week cycles based on weak points. And of course, there's also an entire section dedicated to Calisthenics Circuits, discussing why they're awesome and giving you everything you need to create your own circuits based on where you're at with your training. Whether you're a complete beginner or an advanced athlete, this book will have something for you. I can't claim to be the first person ever to discover the power held within a heavy sandbag. I'm definitely not, but I do believe this book is a completely unique take on the subject, and you won't find anything else out there like it. As a thank you for all your support, it's currently on sale for a major discount. Similar products go for 5 to 10 times the price without even half the content you'll find in this book, but I wanted to make sure all of you have access to it. If you want to read the book and support the channel, I'll have a link to it on Amazon in the description below. If you like it, please let me know over there. That would seriously help me out so much. As I'm sure most of you know already, Amazon runs on buyer feedback, so taking a minute to share your thoughts over on Amazon makes a huge difference. Thanks again for all your support. I hope you like the program, and I hope you like the book. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.